9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good afternoon and happy Monday. I hope you guys are ready for a brand new show today, Lunch with Faride. We have a super special guest today, and I can't wait for you to meet him. This is a person who I met, and we started talking. He told me a lot about his projects and about what he does as a human being, and I just thought it was worth the time to have him on the show, so everybody gets an opportunity to meet him if you don't know him already. So stay tuned, because Nick Leisure will be here with us, and we'll enjoy half hour of a phenomenal interview. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way. Nothing can stop me, I'm all the way.
Okay, well, I hope that got you all pumped up. You guys know that music is supposed to pick you up, get you going. And, as we wait for more people to join this live stream, we're not going to wait any longer. We're going to get Nick on camera so you guys enjoy this amazing human being that I have to introduce you to today. So today, our special guest is none other than Nick Leisure. Am I saying that right, Nick?
Yes, Nick Leisure. How are you?
You know, I'm a Latina, and I always have to be messing up names, right? So
You always look good. That's the thing. That's the important thing, right?
That's right. Well, Nick, thank you so much for accepting the invitation. It's a pleasure to have you here on the show. And as more and more people join us, please tell us who you are. What do you do? Where you come from? Why did I find this beautiful human being one day? I think I stumbled upon you by mistake. So tell us who you are.
I'm a film director from Sacramento, California. I do a lot of films out of Baja as well. I think that's where we crossed our paths. So, what do you want to know? Been in the business for 23 years now. Entertainment business since I was 17 years old. So it's been a long time.
Wow, 17 years old. How did that come about? Did you inherit this passion from a family member, or was this something that you were born with?
No, I was actually 16 working at Subway. It was like one of my first jobs. And a producer used to come in all the time that ended up being like a mentor to me. And he was a big music producer. And so I went into like the music industry and hung out in the studio a lot and learned how to record and be a sound engineer and stuff like that. And after like a couple of years of being there, being around a lot of major artists and things like that, I just decided that I wanted to get into film. And so I started learning about film production.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so what was one of the very first projects that you had an opportunity to be involved in?
Oh, when I first started, I was shooting a lot of like music stuff, like a lot of live concerts for old school bands like Brick Daz, Confunction. I was doing like music videos and live shows for like E40 and B2K and all these different artists over the years. And then it turned into doing a lot of music videos for artists. So I've done music videos for tons of local artists up to Babyface and After Seven and Too Short and different major artists like that. And then that turned into doing like tons of commercials. And I took a job at ABC for a couple of years as a creative producer. So I ended up doing like a few hundred commercials there, everything from like Oscars to local restaurant stuff to image spots for different people on ABC and stuff like that. And then it just kept evolving. I was doing short films pretty much all along. I did a couple feature films early in my career that were like low to no budget type things, you know what I mean? When you get your friends together and all that type of stuff. And so it just, like anything else, if you stay at it, it just keeps growing and growing. And then it got to the point, 20 years later, where I'm in Baja shooting at Baja Studios, and we created a feature film that's out on all platforms right now called A Clear Shot. You can watch it on Amazon Prime, Vudu, iTunes, all that stuff, every streaming platform. So, starring Mario Van Peebles.
Okay. Now, I of course I've watched a little bit of the information on that movie. Do you see that as being like your breakthrough? Is that how you see that movie?
So that would Clear Shot would have been my 7th feature film that I've done. So I've done quite a few other feature films before that. I don't know if I would say breakthrough movie. I mean, it was definitely the most challenging movie, I would say. I mean, shooting, and that story actually was based on or inspired by a true story, a real story that happened in 1991 in Sacramento. It's still the biggest hostage situation in U.S. history, and so shooting that in Mexico and having to recreate Sacramento in Mexico was a challenge, but we got it done. And
Wow.
we premiered twice. We premiered in Sacramento at the IMAX theater, sold out really fast, and then we premiered at the Chinese Man's Theater in Hollywood and sold that out too. So, it was a good time, definitely.
Wow. So you had to recreate Sacramento and that whole hostage situation. And what are the studios called in Baja? Baja Studios? Is that what they're called?
Yeah, it used to be Fox Baja Studios. Now it's just Baja Studios. It was built by James Cameron for Titanic originally, and ever since then, I mean, there's been tons of productions done there. From Selena recently, Fear of the Walking Dead was done there, X-Men, tons of different, Master and Commander, all kinds of movies. So great studio.
Yeah, I hear that there's years wait to be able to be allowed to film there. So you must be one of those that has it all booked up for the year.
I had a connection with a producer friend of mine who had been doing numerous films there already. So I got in pretty close with the manager and the owners, and it just, so now as long as there's stages available, they let me kind of do what I need to do down there. So
That's awesome. Well, we have a question from one of the viewers. If you like to answer this, Anton. Hello, Anton. Thank you for joining us. And he would like to know, what would you say was the most significant transition or breakthrough for you in your career?
I don't know if there was like a really significant time. It wasn't like being an actor where you're going from like audition to audition to audition, and then finally you catch that break and you're on a big film. As a director, it's you're consistently working on projects, smaller projects, short films, anything creative that you can create. And then when you start getting on feature films, you're making feature films for like low to no budget. Then you start getting some budget, but you don't have enough to get big actors and recognizable actors. Then as you start to grow and you build your resume of stuff, and people start believing in what you're doing, and you get a couple people that believe in you, then you can start affording some real actors. And I would say like A Clear Shot is probably one of the biggest ones. I mean, as far as distribution wise, we've been all over the world right now. I mean, we went to Australia, Japan, Benelux, Scandinavia. It's streaming in like multiple different languages all over the world, UK. So it's pretty cool to see.
That's nice. Yeah. What are some of the celebrities in that movie?
So we got Mario Van Peebles as our lead in the movie. We've got Jess Meza from East Los High. We've got Sandra Gutierrez. We've got David Fernandez from Mayans, and We've got Glenn Plummer, who's like OG Bobby Johnson. He was in everything from Speed with Keanu Reeves to Menace to Society. There's so many different movies over the years. We had a really good cast, really good. Marshall Hilton, phenomenal.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Now, I do know that you and I have had some conversations where you share with me all the great stuff you do in Mexico for an orphanage.
Oh yeah, Rancho La Hermosa Orphanage.
I
Yeah.
would love for you to share with our audience what that is for you.
So that kind of happened like on a whim. Like when I'm in Mexico, there's El Norteño tacos. I go there a lot, right on the strip, and that's kind of the spot where like our crew and everybody together have tacos, hang out. And this particular day, I was there meeting with Gustavo Torres and a few different people, and I was going to go meet with the new mayor at the time, was Araceli, that became mayor. Um, I guess she just became mayor, so they wanted me to meet with the mayor to talk about film, things like that. And I just had this idea of like, when you're at the taco place or any place in Baja, you always have all these kids that are coming around trying to sell you stuff or get food from you or something like that. So I had this idea that I would just feed a bunch of kids there. I just wanted to do something to give back. And so I ended up telling the mayor that anybody that showed up that was 16 and under at El Norteño's that night at 6 p.m., I would buy food and tacos for everybody. So we had a bunch of kids that showed up, and this busload of kids. I don't know how they found out originally, but
the news travels fast in Mexico.
Yeah, it did. And so this busload of kids showed up, and it was all the kids from Rancho La Hermosa, and they were great kids, and they were just such a good group of kids. And so just seeing the smiles on their face and giving back, and it's so cheap to like buy food and stuff like that. So it's not like we spend a ton of money, but to be able to feed that many kids and let them have a good time and get together, it was really cool. So I started taking time and going up to the orphanage. We brought like 40 soccer balls up to them up there that were donated to us. We did a couple different parties for them. We did one for Christmas. We made sure that every one of them had a Christmas bag that was full of gifts and clothing and things like that. And so got my crew and friends and stuff like that to donate, and it was a good time. And then we threw a party at Rosarito Beach Hotel for them for Christmas. So fed them and everything, and and it's kind of been an ongoing thing up until we hit this COVID, but where I wanted to go up there and give back to the kids.
Wow, that's amazing. That's actually what made me fall in love with you as a human being. So just know that. And I've always told you that, right? You're a great person. You keep that up. And maybe people listening today should know that, hey, when you're doing good, when God is blessing you on having some success of some sort, doesn't matter what size of success, you should always share that wealth because you multiply your blessings. I'm sure you agree with me on that.
Definitely.
That's great. Well, we have another question.
Okay.
Here we go. What do you recommend for the future entrepreneur in your industry, especially going through this pandemic right now?
I think right now with this pandemic, I mean, I've been fortunate the last 3 or 4 months that business for me it's changed, obviously, because we can't go out and shoot big movies right now. But I have done small productions. We're limited to how many people can be on sets, and obviously, face masks, things like that, and trying to keep distance. So, but I think right now is a really good time for creatives to just network like crazy. I mean, there's so many people, actors, other creatives on social media, things like that normally wouldn't take the time or wouldn't be available, and people are just they're home. I mean, and they're active on social media a lot right now. So it's now's the time to really network with those people, try to put things like in the pipeline to, start creating, even if it's just setting up those relationships to create once we get into the next year or once this COVID thing goes away. You know what I mean? So I think right now is a great time to start building your, Rolodex of people.
I completely agree. Networking is key. And a lot of times we don't get the opportunity to do it because we're so busy. We're so busy, work, and we don't get to do it. So I completely agree that networking is the best thing to do right now for anybody in probably your industry and mine.
Yep.
Now, you know what industry I'm in. Okay, I take pride in teaching people how money works and how to understand little things about their finances that could get them to go the extra mile. So I guess I have the money question of the day for you. So what is a person like you? I know you guys are all independent. I know that unless you are employed by a certain company, what do you think is the one money question people in your industry would like to know about?
Money question. I mean, mostly people ask, how do I get the money? Because you're in a creative industry where it's not easy for most people. You need to go be able to ask people for $1 million or $2 million or $500,000, whatever your budget is, and trust that your vision is going to actually make some money. I mean, you're taking an idea that you have and saying, hey, I want to turn this into a script and ultimately a movie that's going to be on the screen. So give me $1 million. You know what I mean? So how hard is that? I mean, it's it's not like having a product where you can walk in and say, hey, I want to sell you an iPhone, and you know exactly how much it's worth. And I mean, you're literally selling them like a thought that's in your head. And you're just like, hey, you got to believe in like my vision and what I'm going to do. And, that's the toughest part about it. But, and there's a lot of other stuff too, when it comes down to business. If you want to do it right, make sure you form like your corporation and your business. And, as you get along, you want to set it up to where you're getting a salary from your corporation. All your productions have their own LLCs and things like that. So because you're going to have partnerships with all these investors that you're working with.
Right. Well, that's some great advice. That's some great advice. I appreciate that because I was going to ask you for some advice for the newcomers. But, well,
I need advice from you on finances.
No, I know. So I was going to say, I can actually teach you how to become your own investor just by doing it right.
I mean, I invest in a lot of stuff. I trade stocks and things like that. But I don't.
No. A lot of people have that misconception, right? But a lot of the millionaires, they don't need somebody else's money. They choose to use other people's money because that's the way to create wealth. But there is opportunities out there where if you do it right and you save correctly, when you have profits, then you can turn around and use those profits with the gains and, all that for leverage to get free money without any credit or like qualifications is what I mean, any approvals. It's there right there available for you. So we'll talk off the show because remember, this is not a money show. But we'll talk about that later. But now I do have a question. Somebody sending me a personal text. Whoever's sending me a personal text, go on YouTube or Facebook Live to ask your questions so I can post them for Nick. But they want to know if you are single. That's probably why they don't want to put it there.
Well, they should come on here so I can see what they look like. Yes, I'm currently single right now. Yeah. So, but my single status is generally like Black Friday. It comes and goes. So, like. Get in my inbox quick.
Is there such thing as Black Friday dating?
No, like I'm very. I mean, I've been in some long relationships, and I got out of a relationship not too long ago, but I'm right now. I'm just focused on me, balance. My health. I'm healthy. My career. Um, my kids, you know what I mean? Like just really focused on like the important my close friends that are around me, and if somebody comes along, they come along. So um,
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, welcome to the club, buddy. And we continue to stay focused at work. So,
yeah, I'm
um,
waiting for you to invite me down there so I can come hang out and have lunch with you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. We'll have lunch. That's for sure. Hey, we're having lunch now, by the way. Did you have something to cheer with?
All I got is like a little water bottle. What's that? Gonna
All
cheer with
right,
that.
we'll cheer with that with our audience. They're so used to cheering. So cheers, salud.
Cheers.
All right. So I also know that you're coming up with this new movie, and we talked about it. I think it was like January. You and I were talking about it. You were sharing with me what it was about. And obviously, I'm still up for helping you, okay? Because I know it's about something that intrigues me. But I know that you have a movie coming up, and we would love to hear what that is. And I know it's called
Bad
Bad
current.
Currency. So tell us more about Bad Currency.
So bad. Well, after we did a clear shot, I produced another movie called One and the Same that was in Baja. That one actually just got distribution about a week ago. And then I did a comedy special for Lance Woods, which is premiering on Netflix probably in about another 30 days, towards the end of the year. And then Bad Currency. We were trying to really push out like 4 films a year, and so Bad Currency was like the last feature that we were gonna do of last year, and then it went into the beginning of this year, and then we hit COVID. So Bad Currency was also inspired by a true story out of Stockton, California. A friend of mine, his father was involved in stuff back in the early '80s, and had a print shop, and used to create counterfeit money. And they had this big scam. I don't want to give away the whole plot, but it had this big scam where they would take counterfeit money and get other investors to put up money as well, and they would go to Mexico and trade the money for gold bars and bring the gold bars back and supposedly make a ton of money off of it. But by the time they got the gold bars in Mexico, the federales would stop them on the way back, and the Americans were afraid, so they would, take off back to the U.S. And then the person that was doing the scam would split up the money with the federales and stuff. And it was a planned execution of that. So yeah, we created a script around it that and locations in Baja, and we've casted majority of the actors. We casted all of them, and then the lead actor, we replaced him at this point, or we're trying to replace him at this point with somebody new. But we've got like Marty Ko from Cobra Kai, Cobra Kai Sensei. He's in it. His son is in it as well. Lane Garrison from Prison Break and Camp X-Ray. He's in it. Great actor. Glenn Plummer's in it as well again. I try to put Glenn in almost every one of my movies. Just a great guy and a good friend. David Fernandez, who was in Clear Shot, he's in this movie. Tony Du, who is like the main guy in A Clear Shot, the main bad guy in A Clear Shot that had the biggest attitude, the Asian guy. He's in this movie, which he looks completely different now. He's got this huge beard and yeah. So it's and we're working on a few other names. I don't really want to throw it out yet, but
You don't want to jinx it.
no one thinks it. Yeah, there's a couple people that we have right now that have the script and they have their offers, and is we'll see which one takes it. So
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I wish you all the luck. You know that I'll be praying for you, and I'll be cheering you on all the way to the movie theater.
thank you.
On that one. So, and if there's like, I don't know, if these people ever go on trial and there's a judge character, why don't you put a female character and add me on that movie?
Yeah, I should. I don't have
Yeah.
anything to judge right now, but
I don't look like a judge. I think I will play a good judge, you know,
I
putting
think
this
you would too.
bars. Yeah.
Yeah. If I was in court and you were a judge, yeah, I would be flirting with you. I'd be like, come on, Your Honor, let me off of this ticket. Let me, like, just
Oh my goodness. Okay, now you're going to a rated X movie, okay? So, how do people get a hold of you, Nick? I know you're an adorable human being. I can't wait for you to get more followers.
I'm easy to get a hold of. I mean, Nick Leisure, my name is everything is at Nick Leisure. Instagram is what I'm most active on. So you can inbox me on Instagram at Nick Leisure. I have Facebook. I don't really get on Facebook that much anymore. It's mainly just like Instagram. So if anybody wants to send me a DM and a message or want to collaborate, or you're single and you're looking for a date,
You're looking to mingle. Okay, I promise you, you and I will produce a dating show together. And you'll be the first one with a bunch of requests. So,
I appreciate it.
well, actually, no, I'd like to know that. So, how does a person like you, how can you hold down any type of relationship, whether it's short or long lived?
I think that I think that whenever something is important in your life, you're going to make time for it. So whether it's relationship, whether it's your health, whether it's your career, you're going to make time for it. So a lot of people say they don't have time for it, but I mean, you've got people. I mean, you look at the presidents. I mean, I wouldn't say this president, but look at Barack Obama. I mean, Barack Obama was training every day, working out, had a family life, was president, I mean, people tell me I don't have enough time to do this. I work too much. And I'm like, so you work more than the president works every day, and he can still maintain a family life and go to the gym and, and all that stuff. So there's just no excuse to it. You make the time for what you want in your life. You create the life that you really want, and you need to have that balance. It can't all be only career, and it can't all be only relationship. So you have to have that balance of career, and take that time, and then take those times like with your kids and stuff. You have to go, all right, I know I should I'm going to be working on like Wednesday or something, but I promised my daughter that I'm going to go do like movie night with her, from this time. So my phone is off and I'm hanging out with her. So those are the most important times.
That's awesome advice. I mean, I've heard it many times from very successful people where they say, hey, there's no such thing as balance per se. Like if you're expecting a fully balanced life, but there is such thing as planning, scheduling, and committing to it. And obviously open for any changes, right? So that's awesome. Hey, I have somebody that is going to hit you up about the movie. So there you go, Anton. And I recommend him. He's actually a really good character to cast for something like that.
Okay, great.
That's awesome. Well, unfortunately, our time is almost up. We've had a little time to get to know you, and it's definitely a pleasure. You have to come down, or I'm going to be coming to Sacramento soon to see you. But tell us one last message you want all the young people who are aspiring to be like you. And I know that you have a bunch of interns working for you. You guys have a blast. I'm always following your videos. You actually make it fun. So, but what would you like to say to them as our last message?
I would say that, if you want to make it in the creative industry, you have to do it. You know what I mean? I get people all the time that say, I've tried to make it and I couldn't make it, and they're like in their 30s, and I'm like, what do you mean you tried to make it? And I mean, but they're working a 9 to 5, and they're trying to do what they can here and there on spare time. You can't have one foot in. You gotta either say, this is what I'm gonna do. Like when I decided to do it, I didn't have a silver spoon. My parents growing up, my grandparents raised me, and they were okay, but we didn't have a lot of money. So me going into the film industry, nobody was supporting me. My parents and family wanted me to become a state worker or something. My mom worked for the post office her whole life, and she was like, get a job at the post office, and things like that. And so I was like, nah, I want to do creative. I want to do music. I want to do film. And so I had to I started with buying my own little camera, saving some money, buying a small little DV camera that I would shoot stuff with. And then I started contacting as many people as I could on the internet about, can I come intern for you? Can I just be on set? I'll carry equipment around, things like that. And I started learning, and I connecting with a lot of DPs, director of photographies, and camera guys and things like that, and learning stuff. And eventually, you start building your craft. And if you just stay at it, it's like anything else. If you're working out every single day, you're going to get in shape. I mean, so if you work on your craft every single day, whether it's acting, directing, whatever you want to do in the creative business, you're going to get there. But it's going to take time, and you have to be able to sacrifice. And the beginning is, and the beginning can be a year. The beginning can be 10 years or 15 years. But until you break through, you got to really, just stay at it and push.
That's right. Work in your craft and sacrifice, temporary sacrifice for ultimate reward is the way I see it. So congratulations. We have a lot of love for you. And mi casa es tu casa. You know that. This is whenever you're getting ready for your movie to come out, Bad Currency. We would love to have you back on the show. And in the meantime, God bless you. Have a great month, rest of the year. And 2021 should be a phenomenal year for you. So thank you so much for being with us today. And we'll see you soon. Everybody go join, follow, communicate, send a shout out. Tell him you saw him on Lunch with Faride, and follow this guy.
Yeah, follow me, inbox me.
That's right. So we'll go outro. We'll be right back. Stay backstage with me. Okay. There you go. That's what it is. The picture on the promo. So say bye to everybody. We'll be right back.
Nothing can stop me. I'm all the way. I'm all the way.